Hi everybody, welcome back to the Beauty Connective podcast, where beauty professionals all over the industry are coming together to grow, connect, and get real. Today I sat down with Evan Stowers. He is a Utah top 10 stylist, salon owner, mentor, and educator, and he has so much experience in the industry. And today we sat down to talk about overcoming some of those mental hurdles that you can experience being in the beauty industry. So stay tuned to check it out. Well, let's just get into it. Thanks so much for being here. We scheduled this so last minute, so I'm so excited that you're here.
Yeah, welcome.
Yeah. Let's take it back to the beginning, because I know that you started doing hair really young.
Yeah.
So take us back. Tell us how it all started.
All right, cool. So I started when essentially I was like 11 or 12 doing hair.
So young.
Yeah. So my mom from, Temecula, Tustin area, so Southern California, and grew up like really poor. Put herself through cosmetology school, started at like a young age. When we moved to Murrieta, which is like Temecula, had like a home salon. And my mom would say, because she used to cut men's hair in Newport, my dad got jealous, but like, who knows? I don't know. So, so that she did a home salon. And then when we moved in the 90s to Utah, the licensing was different. So that you need 2,000 hours in Utah. And I think it's 1,600 hours in California, which just sounds crazy because California like is always cutting edge.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
It's weird.
Uppity.
I mean, I shouldn't say that, but it's weird that we would have more hours.
Yeah.
You know, we always like the main trendsetters before social media was New York, San Francisco, San Diego, LA, right? Mm-hmm. And so Miami, but so it just sounds weird that Utah held
such
the title
standards, for
2,000 hours. So she didn't practice in a salon setting, but did family hair. And when I was young, I had bowl cuts, which is kind of like what I have right now.
Brought it back.
Part in the middle, right? And she would cut my hair, and she would cut my sideburns off. Like that was the trend, where you like cut the hair above the ear. Mm-hmm. And I hated that so much. And so I complained about it, and I don't think it was like out of like spite or anything. It's my mom, but she was just like, do it yourself. So I took her clippers and I started cutting my hair from like 11, 12 years old. And this is my own haircut. You can judge if you want, but I've gone through periods of cutting my own hair myself, and I've had people cut my own hair. Mm-hmm. So you just get to the point where you just kind of know what you like and how to do it and things like that. So yeah, I started around 11, 12 years old, and I will be 40 in August. So it's been a minute. Yeah. You've been doing it a while now. Yeah.
That's so cool. So did you ever think that it was something that you were going to end up still doing when you were 40?
Yeah, no, I had like no plans to do hair. So when you're 11 or 12, you're just doing it. And then I hit punk rock. I found punk rock when I was probably 13 or 14. Mm-hmm. And some of these bands that inspired me were doing crazy things with their hair. So they're really dark hair and dyeing them bleach blonde, like twisting their ends. Bands that I even would be shy to admit, like Good Charlotte, was like dyeing their hair black with like a blonde chunk in the front, which at the time I'd be like, oh, I didn't yeah. And, I wouldn't have listened to them, but I was inspired by their hair.
Yeah.
So my mom started bleaching our hair when we were 14. A dude that I played music with. And then I thought, dude, I can do this myself. So we lived really close to a Sally's beauty supply, and we would ride our bike there. And I think at the beginning we took supplies from my mom, and then we started going to Sally's, and we would get like Clairol, and we'd find out like medium brown was like a red brown, and ash brown was like a green brown. So we did ash brown, and at the time I didn't even think like we should just mix those. And made more of a neutral brown. But so we had green brown hair, and bleached hair, and we didn't know about toning. So the idea was you bleach your hair 2 or 3 times, so it was just like disintegrating. But it was the color that you wanted. Or you just had like pea yellow hair, and that was just like that was punk rock.
We need to insert like a montage of all the different hairstyles you had as a teenager.
I sent some of those to my stylist the other day, and just were like, oh my gosh. But I actually, at one point, which I want to give credit to myself, my senior year, my hair was a lot lighter than it is now. I would dye my hair medium brown. Then I would put a cap on. Then I would pull it through a cap to get the dimension. Dang. So it was not enough dimension. But like my junior year, I had maroon brown hair, black all through my senior year. Short black hair.
Yeah.
So there's like, I didn't necessarily go purple or green or anything like that, but I definitely messed with different levels of, I guess, within the natural realm-ish.
Switched it up.
Yeah.
Did your mom help, or was she just like, you guys figure it out?
I just did it myself. So after a while, we were able to get all the stuff. We did it. I probably messed up a few bathrooms. I don't know. Just recently, she was going to the beauty supply now. So now ours is $1,600. So boom, my mom's licensed now.
Okay.
Yeah. So my mom's licensed. So, which is amazing. So she's going to the beauty supply. And I'm like, Mom, what are you doing? She's like, I'm going to get some clippers. She's going to cut my brother's hair. Uh-huh. So I'm like, oh, you're going to get some clippers? And she was like, yeah, because you guys took it from me. And I didn't get them back. And I'm like, dude, that was 20 years ago. Like 20 plus years ago, we took your Oster or Ost, whatever they are, clippers to do our own hair. And like, I just had no thought that yanking stuff from her. So at some point, we just self-sufficient, doing our own thing. She's very hands off, which is really funny because currently right now, my wife actually dropped out of hair school. So she knows how to do it. She just didn't go. My son saw on TikTok, Cap, he wants red tips. So I brought him all the supplies home. I'm here. They're sending me video. Pull it through a cap, bleach blonde. I was like, okay, then I want you to pre-tone with this. They're FaceTiming me last night. Like, do we really need to pre-tone? I'm like, okay, well, if you want red, if you want orange red hair, yellow and red, make an orange red. If you want a cool red, pre-tone with this color, do this. And then she sent me videos, montage of my other son. She cut his hair. So she will perm their hair. So it just is in our makeup. We're
so much hairstyling in your world.
Yeah. But I think your question was, did I think I was going to do this?
Yes.
Yeah. Let's go to that.
Take it back.
Take it back. No, I did it as a creative outlet. I was doing it as an expression of punk rock. I had the opportunity to go my junior year, but I was worried about like what people would view of me as hair. Like hair just wasn't considered seriously as an avenue. And so I didn't go my junior year. My parents actually forced me to go, not forced me, but as a backup plan to punk rock. Right out of high school, I did a year and then I put it on hold to continue music in other avenues. So it wasn't until I got married that I actually considered doing hair. And still then I wasn't like all in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What made you finally decide to be all in on this career? What switched for you?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So it was a series of things. So I felt like I had to move through a lot of mental boundaries. So in the beginning, I had a mentor that was a musician as well. And he was like, dude, you can make your own hours. You can do this, whatever. You have flexibility. You can play music. So that part appealed to me. But then when I got into it, it was so mentally taxing for me. I had a lot of anxiety. I would go to the front desk every day and ask what I had on my books. Then I would mentally agonize and prepare of what the clients were going to be like that day. I'm a perfectionist and I'm very hard on myself. Mm-hmm. And so even at the level of a student, I put constraints on myself or like a measuring stick of what I should be instead of enjoying the journey. Yeah. And it's taken me a long time to get to that point. So for years when I graduated, I actually worked in South Jordan here for a month as it was commission. And I kept telling my owner, why are you giving me so much? I can't handle it. Mm-hmm. And so I quit and I went and assisted because I just felt like I always had this striving for knowledge, but it was striving to get past this insecurity. So that took me a long time. I still struggle with that, but that took me probably 5 years of being in the industry. I was in the industry, but I was never full time in the industry. I got a degree in communication. I worked a lot of different jobs. I was supporting my family as the sole like provider as well. So, but it was kind of like a crutch. So I'd have this like, something might not have gone my way, and then I'd lean into something else I was doing. It was an escape. I just didn't think it was what I was supposed to do, but just kept leading back to center of doing hair. So I fought it for a good 5 years, even though I was in the industry. And then I like switched and decided to go all in. Yeah.
Cool. You've been all over the place.
Yeah.
Like done so much. But I like how you mentioned how there's such a mental, like so many mental hurdles involved there's a lot involved with it. And it's so easy to compare yourself to everybody else in the industry. There's so many of us. Getting over those mental hurdles, I think you've talked about this on your page, how like it keeps a lot of people from keeping with the industry, and like the dropout rates are really high. What are some things that you recommend now, having been through that and having sort of overcome some of those things? What advice do you give to people who are in the thick of that mindset and wanting to pull away? What would you advise them?
I've understood the lessons of not everyone's going to love you. That was a hard lesson for me. Measuring myself. I remember one of my mentors said, I've been out 10 years. You've been out 10 months. You're trying to measure yourself to me, which I think is like just impossible. I think there are some very talented people as a salon owner. I can see these people that I'm like, dude, you've been out 1 year and you're just way ahead. So, but for me, with music, with hair, even though some people would, from the outward in, say that this is natural for me, I've worked very, very hard to get where I am. I've taken dozens, like probably 30 plus classes in blonding alone. So it may feel natural because I've put so much work ethic into it. So I think it's like, you have to put the time in. You have to perfect your craft. You know, people say it's 10,000 hours. It's 10,000 plus hours, right? So you have to have the experiences. So when you're going through 10,000 plus hours of time, you're going to hit hurdles and clients that aren't going to love you. You're going to hit periods of growth that you're not going to love. So it's sitting in the uncertainty and the uncomfortableness and saying, what's the lesson in this? If I overtone my client, and where I used to be like, I'm a failure, now I reframe that as I'm gathering information on how to be a better colorist. So I often tell my stylists, the reason why, and not that I'm better than you, the reason why I'm here and you're here is I've made so many more mistakes than you've made. Every time I'm doing a color, I'm banking information on how to be a better colorist. Right? So it's switching that. It's finding the people that align with you, but knowing along the way, like this is a craft. So some of the things that you might view as mistakes is something that just is an inevitable part of the process of growth. Because as much as you go to school, 1,600 hours is 2,000 hours is nothing. Right. And then you go out and no one ever feels prepared. Like literally no one. And every single person comes out of school and says, school doesn't teach me anything. It's like every single person says that.
It's so true.
But it's like, and it's also like, what was your capability to retain that information? Number one, like you also weren't at a level that you are. Like I told the stylist the other day, like I do 4 to 6 clients a day, 4 days a week. So that could be, let's just say 6. That's 24 clients on average a day. That's almost 100 clients services a month. If you work 2 days a week and you do 2 clients, that's 12. Like my output is way more than that person's output. Yeah. Like that's how I'm going to get further. Right. So I think it's like understanding that these things are for your growth, understanding that this is your journey of gathering information, also knowing that not everybody is going to love you. That is tough. That's super tough. And speaking up about advocating for yourself if you don't feel like that's the right fit for you, if that makes sense, because the client is the right fit for you. Sometimes you're not the right fit for the client, right? So there is a difference in that. And just moving through it, right? Like, and I've kind of explained, like when you ride a bike, you're having so much fun. You fall, you scrape your knee. You're like, oh my gosh, this is so much fun. And then you're doing hair or nails and you're like, this sucks. You're growing, right? In both ways, you're growing. Yeah. It's just your mindset on how you're growing. And so it's about reframing that. Doesn't mean that you don't feel bad. Like some of my advice too is like, take a shower, energetically let go of this energy, and then like pick yourself back up and start the day again, because tomorrow is another day. And if they don't choose to stick with you, then that is okay. And there are things you can do to ensure that you may have more longevity, like reaching out to them. And I've done this with stylists where like after every single service when I was building, I would text the client. And in the beginning, it would terrify me because what are they going to say? Right. Yeah. And I've worked through stylists with this because they're like, I don't want to know. It's like, dude, like, yeah, it's fine. Yeah. Right. Yeah. But most of the time you can adjust them. Sometimes you might get feedback like, no, like, I don't know how much I'm supposed to say, but a lady told me the other day that like, I need to up my skills on blonding. So I'm not very good at it. Yeah. Right. Yeah. It was because I didn't feel like we were a good fit. Yeah. So she was bothered about that, but I understand her hurt. Yes. So that response was okay. Yeah. Where old me would have been like torn apart. Right. And right. Yeah. And I would have quit. Yeah. I would have quit from that. But I told my stylist, I said, I hope she goes to the next person. It's like, that guy was horrible. And I hope that person was like, cause we're, our community is small. It's like, yeah, that guy sucked. I'm going to kill him and do the best. And I hope they have a wonderful relationship. Right. Where before I was like, holy crap, she's going to go over there, tell him a story. I'm telling this story, not in great detail. Right. But she might, I was like, oh my gosh, that story of me is out there. There's going to be stories of you out there. Right. Especially when you're growing. Yeah. Especially now, I've been doing this 15 years. And that story is we're creating in real time. And hair and nails are fabric. And you can say point A, point B, point C, but there's only so much level of predictability down to like a small amount. Does that make sense? Right. Like everyone's so different. Yeah. Your hair and nails, everything. Right. You're honing your craft. You get to the point where you're like, yeah, I put violet on this. This is what I do. But you gain more experience as you go. And I think that allows you to move forward. So the dropout rate is what I've heard. I don't know if it's changed. This was 10 years ago, 50% at school, 70% don't make it past the first 3 years in the work field. I truly hope that statistic has changed. And I think these are the reason why people don't make it. Yeah. It's because we struggle to move past these perimeters, if that makes sense. Yeah. And like it all, in the end, it falls back on you personally. Yeah. So being able to take that feedback and grow from it. I was thinking about recently how, I don't know, like talking to other nail techs who lose clients or they never come back. And I've been thinking about talking to people and just being like, would you be willing to reach out to people and be like, give me the brutal honesty. Like, why didn't you come back? What was it about my service that you didn't like, or that, you didn't vibe with, or whatever? And just like be willing to take that and then be like, well, what could I do about that to retain more clients later, or whatever it is. And I'm like, that's the scary part. That's what you were saying. Like people like don't want to text that. I don't want to know how they liked their hair. Right. It's scary. Yeah. And I think you could do it. Okay. So when I'm hearing that, I'm like, okay, here's what you could do. Not scary as much. Yeah. You could on social media that says, what are experiences that you not liked about your hairstylist, nail technician? Yeah. If it was a little more anonymous or whatever, you could do that. But I think, yes, it is tough, right? I mean, I had a client, it was because I use a certain color line. Like it just didn't really mesh with her. And she was so sweet. She was an older woman. And she just said like, oh my gosh, I love our conversations, whatever, but I just need somebody that's going to use a different color line. Like, that's fine. Do you know what I mean? Totally. And maybe if they were to have reached out, maybe they're not getting the brutal honesty, but they're saying, oh, I didn't love this or this about, I don't know a lot about nails. I'm going to be honest. This was my worst subject in cosmetology school. Oh, right, because you had to do it all, right? I had to do nails. Yeah, yeah. I barely passed the nail portion. Yeah. And one of my clients, I can't say too much, but she boards, and I guess they cannot talk a lot about it. She said, I am floored that you guys get to do nails based on your test and the nail tech's tests. Like really? The nail tech's test is so complex and like advanced compared to us doing one nail passing. Oh yeah, right. And be like, okay, cool. Now you're certified. Totally. Yeah. She's like, I'm blown away that you guys actually can do nails. And I'm like, I I don't do nails.
Well, now I'm disappointed to hear that you didn't have to do like the real the real nail test, because it was brutal. Like the practical exam where you have to be, oh my gosh, crazy. And nothing like what it's like in real life.
But if you want to do it together, like I can do nails. So I like waited to the last possible minute. I was just like, I want to say sand.
Sand filing or whatever.
Filing my nails, and I got dust all over my pants, and that thing was probably so bad. Check. You made it.
He could do nails now.
You can do nails now.
Oh yeah.
It just blows my mind. So I'm like, okay, I'm trying to run with you. But okay, one of the things my mentors, for a brief period, I was a landscaper. So I was working at Paul Mitchell. I was renting, I think, one day behind the chair. I was going to college, just doing all these things. And I just kind of got fed up with it. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go into landscaping. And I did that for the summer. So it's 3 months. Mm-hmm. And my landscaper mentor, and we were eating lunch, and he knew that I did hair. So I was going to these high-end areas and like Entrada, and he'd be like, hey, see these jojoba bushes? I want you to transform this into a shape. So essentially just cutting Bush's hair, right?
Yeah.
It's great. Listen to podcasts, do this thing. But he said, this is kind of a summer thing. I really think you have this talent to go back into the hair. What's holding you back? And it was this fear of not being accepted, fear of not having people love you, all these things. And he said, do you think everybody loves me? I'm like, yeah, man. Like, you're established. I see all these interactions. And he said, dude, this town passes landscapers around like baseball cards, right? Mm-hmm. And so that's another thing, is like, we don't own our clients. So having that mindset of the relationship is contingent on the client chooses to come back. How you give the experience, or there's so many factors. It could be they move, price, their sister does something, right? Mm-hmm. Like, you had an off day and they didn't like whatever you said something that bothered them. There's so many factors that you could play the what if game forever. It would make your brain explode. Or you could say, I only need this. Like, I don't, especially now with services, I think at one point the research was like, you only need 200 services. I feel like it's less now. Mm-hmm. Let's just say you only need 100 people, right? Mm-hmm. So you just find those people, and those people are just going to continue to go, right? Like, there's this book called Tribes by Seth Godin, and he talks about this. We used to think on such a macro level, but you really just need a small micro community of supporters to move you forward, right? So you don't need everybody to support you. Mm-hmm. You don't need everybody to come to your business. You need to find the right people. And that's through whatever you're doing to nurture that relationship. And then being okay that people are just going to filter out of your life, because they might come back. I've had clients come back from like 3 years ago. Yeah. It's just how it is. Yeah. So just being open to that.
That's so interesting because of how social media works. And now it's like the grind is like, get more followers, get more following and everything. And it's like, really the people that are going to support you the most are tighter circle. Mm-hmm. Cool. I like that a lot. I'm so inspired by how intentional you've been like throughout your journey. I feel like you've like really just learned so much, and obviously that comes with like years of experience, and it's so cool to learn from you. Yeah. I want to ask you about what it's like being a man in such a female dominated industry.
So I am sandwiched between sisters. Okay. So it goes sister, me, sister, brother. So
lots of siblings.
One of 6, and about 2 years apart. My brothers are 4 and 5 years younger than me. So that doesn't sound like a huge gap, but when you're growing up, it's a big gap. When I was 17, they were 13 and 12. So it was just like, whoa, we are in different worlds. Yeah. Now we're best friends. Cool. And I am close with all my siblings in different ways, but I very much did a lot with my mom. She just like, do you want to go do stuff? Sure, let's go do whatever. Run an errand with me. I just feel like I gravitated to women more, which is really interesting because a lot of my relationships growing up were male, like playing punk rock, all men. Yeah. My dad's a plumbing contractor. I grew up working for my dad from 12 to 22. Mm-hmm. But it was my own world of that. My dad is him and a business partner, And sometimes we'd have another employee that was like a family member. And so I just didn't really live in a normal like male setting. Like musicians are weird. Like we were weird.
It's like, what do we consider normal?
I don't know, traditional, like I don't understand what's happening in football. Oh. My wife actually genuinely understands and follows football more than I do.
Yeah.
So my dad didn't listen to football growing up. And we worked and then we played music. Mm-hmm. And so the relationships that I was put in with men felt very, what's the right word? Unusual for me. I felt very odd. So I was an armored truck driver for a year at one point. I made hot tubs for like 3 months. These are very male driven things. I also worked a lot of retail when I wasn't plumbing. Not saying that those are more female dominated, but they were more female dominated. So I felt very comfortable working with women more than men for my whole life. So it just felt very natural.
Cool.
To just settle into an industry that has a lot of women in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you ever feel like there was any, I don't know, pushback or just any negativity for being a man doing this in the industry? Like,
so not necessarily from the people that were in my circle. My parents encouraged it. My dad told me I talk too much to be a plumber. So, right. So he was like, yeah, do you? I think they were more concerned when I would have those periods of doubt of like, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
But then once I went full in, they were very receptive to that. In the instances of like being an armored truck driver, and a lot of them were very masculine and some of them were ex-military, their references, because I was part of that, was in hair school, their references were like Meet the Zohan, where Adam Sandler like is very, I've actually never seen this movie. But I've heard he finds a Paul Mitchell book. He's kind of effeminate, but he sleeps with all the clients.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And I'm like, no, dude, that's not what it is at all.
Right.
And so I definitely felt like an outsider when I was making hot tubs. The way that they interacted, which without going into it, because there was a level of inappropriateness, like I didn't condone. And that actually reflected, they would get mad at me when I would kind of call them out. Like, hey, we probably shouldn't talk this way or whatever. So I learned to kind of just do my own thing, put my head down, work. But with my peer group, they didn't, they're musicians, they're artists. There was no pushback. And my wife was so encouraging because she went to hair school to an extent. She understood the process. She's a painter. She paints and does art. And so she has been very encouraging. My in-laws are very encouraging. So yeah, I don't know. It's not weird at all in those aspects. So yeah, I don't know. It's not weird at all in those aspects. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I wondered, because you did mention like how sort of when you were first starting, it was sort of going into hair cosmetology was not looked at as super respectable. Is that,
right.
How did you put it? Like, career path. Do you feel like it's evolved since then?
Yes and no. So I did, it was not that long ago, but it made me laugh. But she said, oh, is this what you do for a living? And I laughed because I was like, yeah, I own this salon. This is what I do for a living every day. I think there's still that stigma. I see it. I hate to say this, but I see that more with women. I have my younger stylists, because we're, at least my side, we have 2 salons. My salon is built of a lot of younger stylists. I think the older clientele sometimes say, is this what you're doing? And make that judgment call. And if I'm being honest, for some of them, it isn't what they're doing long term. And that's okay. So I think that there's some biases for that reason, because I think a lot of people go to hair school so young that it might be like, I'm using this as a path to get through nursing. I'm using this as right? So there might be some confusion in that. But I think a long time ago, well, they say something like the average hairstylist makes like 30 grand. So a lot of people probably don't see this as a viable source for a career path. But there is a lot of opportunity and a lot of ability to make good money. It's a craft. And I think with social media especially, we've pushed the barrier of that now. I think in the way that we approach, I think also, and I'm only speaking from my experience of being in Utah, the fact that people like are setting the bar further on what they price. Because I had so many conversations with people where they say, oh, it's just a hobby for me. So when you set that impression, then it's hard to respect the craft because you're charging $10 to do a service.
Right.
But when you're really looking at it professionally and saying, these are all the factors that goes into running my business. So this is what it's going to cost. And at first that might be disorienting for the client, but then it takes them time to adjust and say, yeah, how could you make a living if you were charging nothing? And they adjust to that market. I think because as stylists, we're joining together, we're communicating, we're saying, oh, you're charging what? You're charging what? Let's elevate the craft. Now we're being taken more seriously. So for me, that was mostly when I was in high school. That was 2002. And from my perspective, which I have very limited information, I think we were still sitting in that environment, that it wasn't as professional as it was today, if that makes sense. That's my limited experience, but that's how I viewed it.
Yeah. It seems like a lot of people even still are stuck in a mindset of just how things used to be priced 20 years ago.
Oh my gosh. Right.
I want to ask you a little bit about your mentoring and like your role as the salon owner and how sort of your maybe career has evolved as you've become a mentor to all these stylists and opening your salon.
I would say a lot of times they sit with me and mentor me more than I mentor them. In the beginning, my perspective has changed a lot. So when I opened the salon, it was a need to feel seen. So, and what I mean by that is I had worked in so many salons at that point and just never found my fit that I made my own salon to feel my fit and to feel seen. And then I brought on individuals. I took them along that journey with me. I had no preconceived idea of structure and culture and all those things. And I'm still a little bit, I don't want to say anti to that, but I still haven't totally established that, even though you could say that there is a structure and culture within our salon. We don't have, it's not sanitized. We don't have pamphlets. We don't have flow charts, but there is an idea of what operates in the salon. In the beginning, and the reason why we called it the Desert Lounge was I had a studio, just a makeshift studio, mirrors against the wall. Clients would kick it and literally put their feet on the wall. So I'm like, okay, we live in the desert. We're lounging, Desert Lounge. Also, we used to play at Urban Lounge, so it's an ode to Urban Lounge.
Cool.
And that's kind of how it was born. And I wanted to create, and this might sound so contrary, but in the beginning, all the salons that I worked at, it was about the client. Okay, so go with me here. So it was like going with the client is everything. You are nothing. You are a number. They are the thing. You move on. Client stays. Sorry. That's how it felt to me. And that was my perception. So for me, the inverse of that was all about the stylist, the client's secondary. And the reason why, and that sounds really horrible, but for me, I felt like if the stylist is happy, the stylist is being nurtured, if the stylist is getting education, if the stylist is in a good mindset, the client is going to be happy, right? If you're unhappy as a stylist, that energy moves on to the client. If you're like, I don't freaking want to be here.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to grow. I hate my life. I hate my job. I don't even want to stand behind you.
Right.
Then the client is going to feel those effects. So it wasn't that we were like, you're not important.
Yeah.
It was more like, how do we set the mood?
Yeah.
Because in the other, and nothing disrespect to this, but it was like, we've got a sanitized playlist. We've got a whatever. Now, there's been some things that I've learned along the way where I'm like, well, if I give total freedom, there can be some imbalance of things that I have to put some parameters around. Okay, these are things I may not want played. These are things that of how we could approach things. Can't have total like anarchy.
Yeah.
Anarchy.
Yeah.
In the salon, right? But there are certain things that I have cater to the stylist, even though but then when you get so big, because we have 20 plus stylists.
Wow.
Right. Because we have 2 salons right next to each other. We have
Yeah.
17 chairs and everybody is part-time. So we have 20 plus stylists. I know all of them, but I have different relationships with different ones because I see them at different levels and I have spent more time with different people, but I do know all of them and I try to have a relationship with every single one of them. Understandable that some may not feel seen or heard the way that others feel, right? And as a owner, you also have to be understanding of that. You have to understand that there's going to be talk about you in the break room. And that's okay. Like what I've learned, and maybe not negative, what I've learned is I feel like we've created a community at this point where they're working out things as a community. Some people say you shouldn't say family, but like, cause you're like, would you hire and fire? Whatever. We've created this group of people that they might be working out details about things. And then they come to me and say, hey, I don't know, I'm struggling with this. I might be moving on. You get a sense. I used to get bothered about that because I'm like, God, I'm the last to know about everything.
Oh, yeah.
But now I'm like, that's a natural thing that they're gonna work out details. And I felt like there became a time when there was a moment when I was like, hey, you know stuff, and I've had to kind of let that go. That's not fair to that person.
Yeah.
To be my inside information person and just like I got to let those things go. I got to let things naturally come to me. I got to understand that I'm not going to sit with everybody. I also had to learn through therapy that when I say, hey, can you do this thing? Or, hey, I'm coming to you with a concern. Are you okay? And they say I'm okay and they're not okay. I have to take that at face value. Let them work out those emotions. Let me work out those emotions of they don't not love me. They don't love that interaction. So I think that I've had to pivot that way.
Yeah.
Where in the beginning, these are all these lessons that these people are teaching me. I used to be like, why don't these people operate the way I want them to? Right? Like just do the towels or do this. And now I'm like, there's a certain level of humanness inside of us that nobody's trying to mess with you to a degree, right? Every once in a while you get an individual, you're like, oh my gosh, they are spiting me. And that's okay, right?
Yeah.
That's okay. But just like, no one's trying to make your life rough, literally in life, right?
Right.
Even if someone doesn't even like what you did, like they're not shooting shots at you.
Right.
They're having their own experience.
Yeah.
You didn't hit the mark for them.
Yeah.
Right. And that might come through criticism and that's hard for you.
Right.
That's your own problem because that's your perception versus their perception.
Right.
We all feel right.
Right.
In our own perception.
Our reactions have more how you interact than you in that interaction.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. We view life through our own lens. We're creating our own universe through our own lens, right? So I'm like, dude, I nailed that. They're like, nah, it just wasn't exactly what I thought, right?
Yeah.
So as a salon owner, let's go back to, there's a lot of times, and we don't have to speak to this that much, but I did get diagnosed with being on the spectrum. So I think when I shifted and I got tools for that, I kind of went from like, why doesn't people function the way that I think, to being like, oh, they're literally living in my world, trying to make sense of that, to being like, how do we collaborate and create a world that makes sense? That's how that I try my best. Now, I might not be seen that way in all aspects, but that's what I try to do for my space. That's what makes sense for me. But we're independent operators to an extent that work with inside the confines of my space. We're not commission. We're not hourly, where I would maybe have different types of parameters where people of how we operate, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your salon is beautiful, by the way. I was looking at all the photos and it's like sanctuary vibes.
Thank you. It's a lot of wood.
Yeah.
It's a lot of plywood, actually.
It's awesome though. It's really cool how you've created that and just like adapted over time, which you have to do because we're always learning. It's so cool hearing your perspective. I'm like fascinated by the beauty industry. I'm only like a couple years into it.
Cool.
And so I just hearing, and also I just feel like so much that comes from the hair side and the skin side, like in the nail side, is all so applicable to everybody.
Totally.
So it's cool to hear.
It's all
Yeah.
right?
We're all just humans, and we're all doing a really similar giving services to make other people feel beautiful, or everything. And so it's such a fun industry, but it's also, I mean, you're running a business, but it's also so personal because of the services that you are offering to help people.
Totally. We're all our own little small businesses. So the pros and cons of that is you have to show up and do the work and interface every day. And there's like a lot of growth that comes through that. The way that I view doing hair is like I'm creating through the medium of hair. So I don't play hair. I don't like the way that I grew up playing Barbies, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm creating when clients sit in my chair, I analyze all the different points that they're looking for. And then I'm looking at visual space and how I'm placing things and creating hair. Now, I've created a system that might be doing that over and over and over again. It might look very, I don't want to say the word mundane, but to some people, they're like, dude, you just do the same thing over and over again. So yeah, I've created a system for that.
Yeah.
But I also get to look at how does this counteract this? How does this do this? And sometimes, if I'm being honest, I'm going to sit in the break room and watch skateboarding.
Yeah.
Because I've done that for
Yeah.
so many years. I did that for 10 years. I need a little palate cleanser. And then I need to go back and be like, this is what I'm looking at. And I have no problem with the client coming to me and say, bring me a visual. Because sometimes you need a different perspective. I'm like, I'm just looking at this from my perspective over and over and over again. And that takes some humility, right? Hey, I like what you're doing. I'm not saying I don't like what you're doing. You're like, no, it's cool. I get it. Can we do this?
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah, I'm just going to pivot from, I don't know, 3 foils in front to 9 foils in front. Like, yeah, I don't care. Show me what you got. Unless I'm like, that's not really what I do. And I may speak to that piece too.
Yeah.
I don't do rainbow hair. I don't do unicorn hair.
Yeah.
I sit within a natural realm.
Yeah.
And I also do a lot of lived in hair. So like I may say that I might not be the right fit for you. And that's actually me looking out for you.
Yeah.
Even though it comes off as like firing or
Right.
like I'm,
You
you know
don't
what I
wanna do
mean?
my hair.
Clients
Yeah.
are sometimes that can feel really hard and uncomfortable. I like to say my intention is to set you up for a stylist or that has this desire and skill set to do this for you.
Yeah.
Also acknowledging if they say like you don't have the skill set for that, that's okay,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
There's that's fine.
Yeah.
And this is what I do, but I've done a lot of hair. In the beginning, I did a lot of things to kind of get to the point to decide what I liked doing.
Yeah.
I took a lot of clients.
Yeah.
I did a lot of color corrections. I did do that pink, purple, blue hair to feel
Yeah.
like this just doesn't light me up.
Yeah.
So I think sometimes where some people say pick a lane and stay in that lane forever, that is great. But also like all of that stuff, like if you get from a brunette canvas to a blue canvas, there is knowledge in that, in the journey of how you strip the hair, how you lift the hair, how you balance the hair to create a vivid color. I'm not saying it's not, there's so much expertise in that.
Yeah.
Right? And there's also a lot of expertise in creating like seamless lived-in hair that grows out well. Not one is not better than the other.
Right.
I just decided that I'd rather do this other lane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. And especially in this industry, I feel like you have to niche. You have to find a niche.
Yeah.
So that you're not doing everything.
Sure.
If you're doing everything, you're probably not super great at every single thing.
Sure. You're jack of,
All trades.
right? Master of none.
Yeah.
Is that the term?
Sounds
I would
good.
say yes and no. Okay. Because
Yeah.
I'm gonna challenge that a little bit.
Okay.
Because I would say yes, but I also say not in the beginning doing things that you loathe. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So you don't want to be like, oh my gosh, I do not want to do this, but being open to the growth,
Yeah.
right? Because then you don't know what that will do for you.
Yeah.
So it's like, yes, niche,
Yes.
but also be open to being like I have this amazing client that I like do this different process on that I wouldn't have got to have if I wouldn't have been open to that. And now when I get this other client, it's like lifting really dark hair and making it medium brown.
Yeah.
And, you know, with being a blonder, I'm like, I don't want to do that. That's just outside of my comfort zone.
Yeah.
But now I'm like, oh, I can do that. If I get another client, you're like, okay, I got that in my tool belt. Now I can do that. And I'm not worried about it.
Yeah.
Right?
Cool.
Yeah.
Anyways. I like that. No, I like that challenge. The last question I want to ask you is what's inspiring you right now as a stylist? As a stylist,
what's inspiring me right now as a stylist? That is a great question. Not saying I'm not inspired. I'm like, what's inspiring me right now? Okay. This is going to sound like a really weird question, but this is where I'm sitting right now, is watching my young stylists grow, inspire me. Like watching their ups, watching their downs, just watching them attack things. There's this new group of stylists coming out that just are like, I am going to charge that. I'm going to execute this. I am like, they have this level of confidence. I love.
Cool.
I love and I admire them so much. And I watch them. Sometimes I'm like, dude, I wish I wasn't working so I could walk around and watch what you're doing.
Yeah.
Watch you create. Like, I love bantering with them. I love talking to them. I love it as much as seeing my clients, which sometimes can be hard. Because one client said, he's just talking in the back. Like, no, dude, like, you've just learned how long it takes for me to answer a question. So sometimes I'm like, don't ask me a question, dude. I'm mixing and I don't have 15 minutes to answer that. I got to go out and talk to my client. Yeah. The other might be celebrating a life event in the back with them. So like, it's hair related, but then I'm picking things from them like, oh my gosh, how are you like doing this face framing? Like I love it. They just kind of walk in like this, but then we're fragile, right? So it's like also being able to be there for people and lift them up. But I just love them and admire them. I love artists. I love people. I love that aspect of I love interacting with, I said to a friend in California, my weird sees your weird. Like, I love that.
Yeah.
But I'm finding, I've done a lot of education. I love education. I've taken 50 classes, probably, no joke. And I'm not setting that aside like I don't have anything to learn. I try to take a couple classes a year. Right now, that is where my mind is. And unless I couldn't be like, oh, this piece of like art is inspiring me right now. I'm just going to keep going for a minute.
Right.
Like clothing is inspiring me. People that how their minds work is inspiring me right now. And that reaffirms things for me. It re-energizes me. Does that make sense?
Totally.
It re-energizes me and how I show up behind the chair more than visually scrolling through Instagram.
Yeah.
All the time. I can get bits and pieces from that.
Yeah.
I don't need to be doing that all the time.
Yeah.
I want to be talking to people and inspired in different ways. Yeah.
Live your life to be inspired from actual life, not the screens.
Yeah. I think I do spend a good amount of time on it, but it's through different mediums.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. And just seeing like, oh my gosh, how's that person doing like that? The passion that's like tattooing. Like this dude in France, my buddy in San Diego, that's building a clothing brand from scratch. Like these dudes are like, the artistry that goes into that makes me be like, I want to be a better artist. I want to be a better person. Like I want to be a harder worker. Like more so than, because I think it's hard when you look at Instagram so much. This is my preferred method. And you see so many people, you see so many blondes and you're like, that blonde is just so much better than I could do. It almost like uninspires you. Right. Makes you feel sad. Yeah. That's an internal problem that I'm trying to work through.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm like, a balance enough that I receive the information that I know how to execute that, but not so much that I'm being bogged down. Because like comparison is the thief of joy.
Yeah.
It just will bury you. And like you start at like being inspired and then it leads to feeling like crap.
Right.
If you're me.
Yeah.
Right. Maybe not everybody.
I think.
Maybe not everybody. Maybe everybody's like, no, dude, I'm just inspired. Right.
Yeah.
So for me, and that's my own internal work.
Yeah.
That I need to move through. But that's what's inspiring me right now. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, a few rapid fire questions.
do it.
First one, what's a dream client or collab?
That is so hard. Dream collab. Okay, let's do that.
Okay.
Nina in Agora Hills, California. She's my weird, she's her weird.
Cool.
I love her to pieces. I've taken a class from her like 3 times.
Yeah.
I'd love to just work with her. There's a lot of people. My friend Mika, who's from Australia in town. Like my friend Taryn in Australia. Like these are collabs.
Yeah.
I'm like, dream client? I don't really have a dream client.
Yeah.
I love natural techniques. Mm-hmm. That's my dream. I feel like I have so many great clients.
Yeah.
I know that sounds so cheesy. It's not a celebrity.
Right.
It's not I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
That's it.
If you weren't doing hair, what would you be doing?
Fashion.
Cool.
Probably.
Nice.
Some kind of art.
Yeah. What's the favorite service that you offer?
Blonding. Like lived in. Lifting, lightening. I mean, I do have a lot of brunettes that I love. And I actually have clients that are like, I didn't know you did a brunette. I'm like, yes, I have so many. Color. Okay. That's what I should say.
Yeah.
Creating natural color is what I'm like, hold on, let's backpedal this.
Yes.
I don't want my brunettes to know it, like so much love.
Yes.
Creating natural. Honestly, I love my clients. It's going to sound so bad. I love my clients more than I love hair.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like I have such a sweet spot of clients right now that I don't really care what I'm doing
Yeah.
on their hair.
Dang.
I just enjoy them as people. I enjoy talking about aliens and existential things and like that we're literally in a thing of energy right now.
Yeah.
Like more than I am like, oh my gosh, I'm just foaming at the mouth that this blonde is coming in right now to do this. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
I love our conversation. I love our flow. Yeah.
Shout out to all your clients.
Dude, they're amazing.
That's
I love
awesome.
them. They're so great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's a non-negotiable that you have as a salon owner?
Oh my gosh, I don't. I love you guys. No WAP. We can't play.
That's like a no-go.
No Meg the Stallion,
Absolutely
dude.
not.
I'm sorry. Like
That's fair.
I can't live.
Oh, funny.
Yeah, that's probably a non-negotiable.
Love it.
Other than that,
Yeah.
and they're like, it's so touchy. Like so many people love that, but it can't be for me. But
the
then
right
on their
vibe.
end, they say no screamo. I'm like, I don't listen to screamo. It's yelling.
Oh, no.
They're not screaming.
Yes.
So it's finding that collaboration.
Yeah.
They're like, can you not? Yes, I'm working on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's next for you?
I don't even know.
Word.
I mean, I own 2 salons.
Yeah.
I've got 20 stylists. I've got 11. I know I've had people be like, you can open another salon? No. Because like, I want to be where my people are. Growth is not, okay, let's answer this question.
Okay.
We live in such a growth mindset where sometimes that's not the solution for everyone. For me, where I want to be right now is what I'm working on. What's next for me is Evan 70.0 is I feel like our life is a form of reincarnation, and I want to balance my regulation system right now. Like I feel like I've lived in, and you can refer to other podcasts about this, but I lived in such a state of dysregulation for so long.
Yeah.
And moving through addiction and moving through trauma and abuse that like I want to be regulated. I want to be more simple. Where before it was like I think humankind is like, I want a bigger house. I want a bigger car. I want to have more aspirations. I want to have 90 salons. Dude, I don't want any of that.
Yeah.
I want to live in my imperfect scare. That's my clothing that I love. That's my dude. Like I want money for that. I want to support my people. I want to be a better dad. I want to show up more for my children. I want to be a better partner. I want to be a more regulated person. I want to sit with my clients more. I want to sit with my people more. That's what's next for me. Yeah. And I feel like I'm already doing that. I want to embody what I say I want to do. Does that make sense?
Totally.
It's all the stuff you can say, all the things you can do. But like my buddy Earl is like, but you embody, that's the flex, right? embodying that, is hearing my stylists, like within parameter, you know, within what I can do for them, right? Understanding people can move on, like supporting people the way that they can be supported.
Yeah.
That's what's next for me. I would love to say doing hair for Dancing with the Stars. I don't really care about that.
Yeah.
I think it's cool. I think it's amazing people have aspirations to do that. But I'm feeling very called to, and then being very open to whatever comes my way.
Yeah.
Right? Like I did a thing today that allowed me to grow in a way that I wouldn't have done. That's why we're here at this podcast. I would have said no. So I have imposter syndrome. Like I struggle with that.
Yeah.
I'm like, I feel awkward. I've also, as I'm talking to you, I'm thinking, how is this even, who is going to listen to this and how is this going to be received?
Yeah. Right? Yeah.
Right?
Totally. I get it.
And so but I'm trying to move through those things and really grow that way.
Yeah.
That's what's next for me.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thanks so much for pushing past even your own imposter syndrome to be here today, because even if I'm the only one that's been inspired, this has been so valuable for me.
Thank
just
you.
like chatting with you and getting to know you. I feel really excited to know you now. And
Thanks,
and
dude.
yeah.
Trying to meet you.
Thanks for being here.
Of course.
All right. Thanks so much for joining us for this week's episode of the Beauty Connective podcast, where we are creating community within the beauty industry to talk about all the ins and outs and all the things that might not be talked about enough. If you're a beauty professional and are interested in growing your clientele outside of the social media grind, check us out at thebeautyconnective.com, where you can create your free profile today.